today again with the next part of the same topic, oogenesis, from the chapter Human Reproduction. Children, till yet we have discussed that how the ovum before the birth of a girl child starts developing inside the mother's womb. And today we will be discussing the structure of the ovary inside which that different type of follicles are formed. Children, if you remember, I discussed in the last video that how your primary oocyte, primary follicles, secondary follicles, all those follicles were getting developed and the process was moving into the mitosis and meiosis divisions. Children, today on the board you can see that I have drawn a large numbers of diagrams are there, and today the description of these diagrams will be explaining the topic more nicely. So let us move to the first diagram, then we will be moving to the second diagram. Children, here you can see that I have drawn the diagram of ovary. Today we will be discussing that how these follicles, how the oocyte gets developed inside the ovary and their positions, that how they are getting developed. Now children, what happens in the first diagram, I have tried to explain you all the different regions of ovary. Now I have drawn this enlarged view of ovary where your germinal epithelium lining is mentioned over here. I have drawn this germinal epithelium lining. Now you can see, children, that I have divided the whole ovary into two sections, into two parts. The one is the inner part and the outer one you can see here. I have mentioned with red color, I have drawn with red color, and inner one I have drawn with black color. Now children, this whole ovary is divided into two regions, and these two regions are cortex and medulla. Children, the outer portion, the outer region of the ovary is called as cortex, and the middle portion, the inner portion of the ovary is called as medulla. You have learned this, you have studied these terms in the structure of kidney, that the outer part of the kidney is cortex and the middle portion of the kidney is medulla. Same names are mentioned here also, that the outer portion of the ovary is cortex and the middle portion, the inner portion of the ovary is medulla. Now children, this whole ovary is filled up by a ground substance, and this ground substance is called as stroma. Now children, the outer portion, which is cortex, is having a dense stroma, large concentrated stroma, but in the middle portion, in the medulla portion, this stroma is not so much dense, it is less in concentration. So children, this was the two regions of the ovary. The outer is cortex and the middle one is your medulla, and the whole ovary is filled up by a fluid-like substance like a ground substance called as stroma, and the outer is more dense and the middle is less dense. Now children, I will be moving to the next diagram. Now children, on this side I have drawn the diagram of ovary showing follicles, the different type of follicles. Now children, first I will take the names and you learn the names first, then the diagram learning will become easy. Now children, the first part of the ovary where the germinal epithelium lining will be playing role. And you know that germinal epithelium lining is responsible for the production, for the release of, for the generation of many types of cells called as oogonium cells. So here you can see that I have drawn with green color small cells, and these cells are oogonia. So these are oogonium. Now children, you know that from these oogonium cells, any cells can develop themselves and they start behaving like your egg cells, your mother egg cells, and these mother egg cells called as oogonium cells, they develop in size, they grow bigger in size and they develop into primary oocyte. So this diagram is your primary oocyte. Children, the primary oocyte is also called as primordial follicle. Now, this primary oocyte or the primordial follicle, they are enclosed by, they are surrounded by many granulosa cells, membrane granulosa cells, and these membrane granulosa cells, when they enclose the primary oocyte, then the structure is called as primary follicle. You are knowing this. Now, this primary follicle is enclosed by the second layer of membrane granulosa cells, and these granulosa cells, after enclosing, the structure formed is called as secondary follicle. Now children, again around the secondary follicle, the third layer of granulosa cells, they are arranged, and now the structure which is formed is called as tertiary follicle. So children, your follicular state is developing in a sense that at first the germinal epithelium cells will be producing mother egg cell or oogonium cell. Now these mother egg cell will grow in size and they will be developing into primary oocyte or primordial follicle. Now this primary oocyte will change into primary follicle. How? When the granulosa cells will get enclosed around the primary oocyte. Then again this primary follicle will be changing into secondary follicle. How? Again by getting enclosed by the second layer of granulosa cells. Now in the third layer of granulosa cells will be enclosing the primary oocyte and the structure will be forming, now called as tertiary follicle. Children, the differentiation you can see by the color which I have drawn on the board. I have drawn the oogonium with simple green color. Then the primary follicle, I have enclosed it with orange color from surrounding. Then the secondary follicle, along with your orange color, I have drawn it with your purple color. So your secondary layer can be seen over here. Then in the in the tertiary follicle, you can see that along with orange and purple, I have drawn another layer, the third layer with the red color. Now children, you can see here one most important thing, that I have drawn a space in between the secondary layer and the tertiary layer. In between the secondary follicle and the tertiary follicle layer, here is a space created, and this space, children, is called as antrum. This space is called as antrum. This is called as antrum. The space which is formed here, this one. Now children, the structure of this structure I will be explaining in a more detail now. Now what is here? You understand that this is a developed one structure now, where your antrum, empty space has been created, and this space is filled up by a fluid called as liquor folliculi. Now in the diagram, descriptive diagram, I will be showing it. So here again this space is created. So this is your tertiary follicle. Now children, tertiary follicle can be considered as a mature ovum, but it has not matured completely. Now its development is left over, and what happens that slowly when this tertiary follicle structures get matured and containing a mature ovum inside it, then this complete structure is called as Graafian follicle. Children, this Graafian follicle structure, I am going to explain it separately just now. So this your Graafian follicle is formed. This is the mature now. Now what happens when the Graafian follicle is formed and inside the Graafian follicle your mature ovum is formed. Now the time comes when it has to be released out into the fallopian tube. So what happens, children, that from the Graafian follicle the ovum gets released and this ovum is captured by the fimbriae. If you remember the structure of the ovary along with the fallopian tube. So this ovary was holded up by a fimbriae, the finger-like structures. So as soon as your ovum gets released from the Graafian follicle outside, then this is captured by the fimbriae and this ovum gets released into the fallopian tube, into the oviduct. And you know, children, that this process is called as ovulation. The process during which the mature ovum gets released out from the Graafian follicle and enters into the fallopian tube, the process is called as ovulation. So children, here when your mature Graafian follicle is formed, then the time comes of the release of ovum and this ovum gets released out into the fallopian tube through the fimbriae part and this process is called as ovulation. So ovulation is completed over here. Now children, once the ovum is released out of the Graafian follicle, now the things are very important which has to be understood. Now children, what happens that this Graafian follicle is left over inside the ovary. The ovum gets released outside, but this ovum gets released outside, but this Graafian follicle is left over inside. So the ovum gets detached from the Graafian follicle. The ovum gets separated from the Graafian follicle. Ovum gets released into the fallopian tube and Graafian follicle is left over inside the ovary itself. Now children, what will happen to the Graafian follicle, to this structure? What will happen? Now what happens that this Graafian follicle, it gets repaired. Now when the Graafian follicle gets ruptured, it gets exposed. So what happens? The ovum gets outside. It is released out. Now again this whole Graafian follicle will be getting repaired and they will be forming a structure called as corpus luteum. Now this corpus luteum is a blood-filled pouch-like structure. This corpus luteum is formed by the repairing of the Graafian follicle and this Graafian follicle gets repaired and it is filled up by a blood and the structure which is formed now is called as corpus luteum. Now children, this corpus luteum persists inside the body of a female if pregnancy persists in a woman. Now, I'll explain the meaning of it. This corpus luteum is now responsible for the release of hormone called as progesterone. Now, this Graafian follicle gets repaired and gets changed into corpus luteum and this corpus luteum is responsible to secrete the hormone progesterone. Now this progesterone is also called as pregnancy hormone and this pregnancy hormone is utilized throughout the gestation period, throughout the pregnancy period. Now children, if the pregnancy persists inside the woman, if a fertilization of a ovum and a sperm they mate together, then the fertilization process will take place. And what happens if the fertilization takes place? Then this corpus luteum will remain inside the body because it is needed throughout the pregnancy period to secrete progesterone hormone. But if Suppose children, pregnancy is not persisting. Every time release of ovum doesn't mean that pregnancy will persist inside a woman, inside a girl. It is not meant. So what happens? That this corpus luteum gets degenerated. If pregnancy doesn't persist, if fertilization doesn't occur, then there will be no role of this corpus luteum. Why? Because the function of corpus luteum is to release progesterone, and progesterone is needed throughout the pregnancy period. And if pregnancy is not staying inside the body of a woman, if pregnancy do not persist, then the need of this progesterone will be nil. It is not needed. So what the body will do with this corpus luteum? So what happens, children? This corpus luteum will get degenerated, and the whole structure will be getting degenerated in form of white scar-like structure, and that white scar-like structure is called as corpus albuminous. Again, I repeat, children, if pregnancy persists, corpus luteum will be formed, and corpus luteum is a blood-filled pouch-like structure which is responsible for the secretion of progesterone, and this progesterone is needed throughout the pregnancy period. But if the pregnancy do not persist inside the female, then there will be no role of corpus luteum. The corpus luteum will be getting degenerated gradually, and this corpus luteum will be changing into a white scar-like structure, and this white scar-like structure is called as corpus albuminous. Now children, hope you have understood this whole structure, that how the follicles inside the ovary are getting developed. In very brief, that the germinal epithelium will be forming oogonium. Oogonium will be surrounded by your granulosa cells to form your primary follicle. Primary follicle will be getting enclosed by the another layer of granulosa cells, and they will be forming secondary follicle. And this secondary follicle will be again wrapped up by another granulosa cell layer, and the structure will be formed is called as tertiary follicle. And this tertiary follicle, now they will be getting developed. They will be getting in a more well conditioned manner, and the structure which will be formed is called as Graafian follicle. Now from this Graafian follicle, now after the completion, after the maturation, the ovum will be released, and the ovum will be captured by the fimbriae of the fallopian tube, and the process is called as ovulation. Now, the leftover Graafian follicle will be converting into corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum will be responsible for the release of progesterone, and progesterone is called as pregnancy hormone, which will be needed if the pregnancy persists. But if pregnancy doesn't persist, then this corpus luteum will be getting degenerated, and a white scar-like structure will be formed, corpus albuminous, and this will be slowly getting degenerated. It will be released out from the body of the females through the menstrual cycle. Hope children you have understood. Now I will be explaining the structure of Graafian follicle in detail. Now children, you can see that I have drawn here the mature structure of the oocyte, primary oocyte, that is your Graafian follicle. This is the complete structure of Graafian follicle. It is a condition when the structure has become completely mature, and this primary oocyte is ready to do the ovulation process. Now children, now let us study the structure of the Graafian follicle. Now you all know that the whole structure has been formed by the enclosing of the granulosa cells. So children, this whole structure is made up of granulosa cells here, and this is your primary oocyte. Now children, this primary oocyte is enclosed from the surrounding by a granulosa cells. Now there are different layers, Now the inner one is the primary layer, the granulosa cells which were enclosed during the formation of primary follicle. This is with orange color. Then your second, when it was formed during the formation of secondary follicle, it is with purple color, and the last one, it was with red color when the tertiary follicle was forming. Now children, what happens? This your granulosa cells layer, they form outside the follicle, outside the graphene follicle, they form another layer which forms the base of the complete graphene follicle structure. And this base is called as basement membrane. And always remember that basement membrane is also formed by the cells of the granulosa. Now, from this granulosa cells only, outside also two more protective layers are formed, and these two protective layers are called as theca. Theca means wall, boundary. So this granulosa cells, they are released outside and they form a protective layer, they form a membrane protective, and this membrane, this layer is called as theca. Now children, this is also two layers. The outer layer, the outer theca is called as theca externa. Externa means outer part, and the inner one is called as theca interna. Interna means internal side. So theca externa and theca interna, these are the theca layer, these are the protective wall which are formed by the granulosa cells. Now children, within this a basement membrane is prepared, and this basement membrane is also a preparation of granulosa cells itself. Now, inside the three layers are there which was formed during the formation of primary follicle, secondary follicle and tertiary follicle. So these granulosa layers are formed there, this wall is present. Now children, what happens? At a position when this graphene follicle becomes completely mature, at a portion, the inner side of this, they get piled up, they form a hillock of cells, they form a mass of cells. You can see that a mass of cells are collected over here, and these mass of cells, children, is also made up with the same granulosa cells. And this mass of cell, this hillock of cell, this is called as cumulus oophorus or discus proligerus. Children, this is the name which is formed by the granulosa cells, and this is a mass of cell to which your primary oocyte is attached, is tightly attached to it. So this is a cumulus oophorus to which this primary oocyte is attached. Now children, I am moving to the primary oocyte. Now you know that primary oocyte is here, and this primary oocyte, then it is protected again by two membranes, and these membranes are also formed by the granulosa cells itself. So this primary oocyte also is protected by two layers, and one of the layer is the continuous layer of the inner part. That is primary follicle, that granulosa cells which was formed. This is the continuation of this layer only. And this layer, the hillock of cells, the mass of cells which is continuously surrounding the primary oocyte and forming the first protective layer of primary oocyte is called as zona pellucida. So zona pellucida is the immediate wall, is the immediate membrane which is protecting the primary oocyte in the center. You can see here this orange color lining, and this zona pellucida is the continuous layer of the granulosa cells. Then again children, from outside another layer, another protective wall is formed, and this protective wall is called as corona radiata. And these two walls are very important during the fertilization process, because after this, when this structure is going to rupture, the graphene follicle is going to rupture, and this primary oocyte is going to release outside into the fallopian tube, then what will happen? This ovum, this will be waiting inside them. Now children, remember that this primary oocyte will now convert after if you remember, I told you all that primary oocyte will be entering into the meiosis first, and it will be entering your meiosis second. So this primary oocyte here, it will be completing meiosis first and will be converted into secondary oocyte. Always remember children that this will be converting into secondary oocyte when after completing the meiosis first. If you remember, I told you all that in the prophase first, this primary oocyte stage is arrested, and after attaining puberty, this primary oocyte is which is converted into primary follicle structure. This primary follicle structure, now secondary and tertiary, after they are completing, they enter into the meiosis first stage, and it was arrested in the leptotene stage, and then after entering into the meiosis first, it completes the rest of the meiosis first process, like your all the process of prophase first, then your metaphase, then your anaphase and telophase, and it enters into the meiosis second. And when it enters into the meiosis second, the structure of the primary oocyte changes into secondary oocyte. So during the ovulation process, the primary oocyte which is being released out into the ovary, that is not primary oocyte, but that is your secondary oocyte. And secondary oocyte is a structure where your meiosis second has not completed. This is also again important point which I will be discussing in the next part of the video, that how the secondary oocyte is going to complete its meiosis second, and it will be ready for fertilization and for the formation of zygote and all. I will be discussing. So this secondary oocyte is formed. So this primary oocyte, when completing its meiosis first, it will be changing into secondary oocyte, and now the complete Graafian follicle is a mature, holding a secondary oocyte structure and ready for ovulation process, so that the structure can be released into the fallopian tube for the fertilization process. Now children, this whole structure is over here. Now you can see that here a empty space has been drawn, and this empty space is filled up by a liquid, and this fluid is called as liquor folliculi. And this space which is created, if you remember that in that structure I told you that the tertiary, after the formation of secondary follicle and in between the tertiary follicle, a gap is created. This is that gap, this is that space, and this space is called as antrum, and this antrum is filled up by a fluid, and that fluid is called as liquor folliculi. So this is the complete structure of the Graafian follicle. Children, repeat the line diagram again so that you can learn the steps again one by one very nicely. That during the oogenesis process, always in the beginning, your primary oocyte is formed from the oogonium cell, egg mother cell. This primary oocyte or primordial follicle, they get enclosed by the granulosa cells to form primary follicle. This primary follicle enclosed by another second layer of granulosa to form secondary follicle. The secondary follicle again develops into tertiary follicle, forming antrum there, and slowly it gets into mature condition, and the Graafian follicle structure is formed, and this Graafian follicle is responsible for holding the primary oocyte, where your primary oocyte completes its meiosis first stage and enters into the meiosis second, and it gets converted into secondary oocyte, which is released into the fallopian tube, into the oviduct by the ovulation process, and it gets ready for the fertilization process inside the fallopian tube in the ampulla position. If you remember the structure of oviduct, so it is over there where your fertilization is going to take place. Hope children, this whole structure of the ovary containing different follicles and the detailed structure of the Graafian follicle is understood by you all. Thank you.